Fatima says, now this is a recurring thing, need versus want, mind versus brain, hen versus chicken, kids versus children, ladies versus women, and pretty versus beautiful. Now, what is going on here? Well, sometimes Fatima sends over a list of pairs of words, and you might think, why do I need to learn pairs of words? It's actually very useful. If you can distinguish between words, not only in their definition, but how they're used, you can get a better feeling for how to use the language yourself. When you're in conversation, when you're talking with others, you might decide to use this word or that word, right? Depending on the situation. So actually, learning pairs is incredibly useful. I want to be clear, it's not only about learning the definition. It's about also learning the connotation. Connotation is the social understanding of the word, the way people understand it when they hear it, okay? So we're just going to take these one by one. I'm going to give you my sense for them. This is not as complete as you're going to get if you deeply search in dictionaries and thesauruses, right? Because it's just in my silly brain here. But I'm going to do my best. All right. The first one's the easiest. Need versus want. Need versus want. A need is something that has to be there. Otherwise, it will cause suffering. Otherwise, things will break. Otherwise, there will be chaos. Otherwise, something can't happen, right? In other words, I need a budget before I can make this movie. I need a budget before I can make this movie. How do you make a movie without a budget? You can't, right? Movies cost money. So it's a need, not a want. A want is something that you prefer. You would like it to be there. It would be nice if it were there. For example, I want an A-list celebrity for my movie. Now, if I can't get Brad Pitt, maybe I will see if I can find a C or a D-list celebrity for my movie. Well, I want an A-list celebrity, but I can make my movie without it. Okay? That's the difference between want and need. The movie can't happen without a budget, so I need a budget. I want Brad Pitt, but if I can't get Brad Pitt, then I will settle for something lower, and I'll still make my movie. That's the basic difference between them, okay? People need water to survive. If they don't drink water, they can't survive. Okay, I want orange juice. If you don't drink orange juice, you'll survive. You can go your whole life without orange juice. Now, this is where it gets a little tricky because people will say, oh, I need orange juice. I will say, I need coffee. Now, to me, I need coffee. I wouldn't be sitting here if I didn't have coffee. But that's where it gets a little subjective. It gets subjective when it comes down to a feeling of, if I don't have it, I'll be miserable, right? So people do use the word need, not literally for things that will, the absence of which will kill them, but for things that they really, really want or things that are very, very important to them. For me, for example, coffee, the internet. I need the internet. I need coffee, like that. Okay. Mind versus brain. Again, this one's also not too hard to separate. Brain is the physical thing, the piece of gray or pink meat that lives between your ears. And your mind is a more abstract concept, a more abstract idea, which is made by the brain, but the brain is the meat. The brain is the stuff that's there, right? People say, for example, I will store it in my memory, right? Or keep it in mind. Or what do you have in mind? So when we're talking about ideas, and we're talking about memories, and we're talking about telling stories, and we're talking about making mistakes, and we're talking about, for example, it slipped my mind. It slipped my mind means I forgot, right? We're using the word mind because we're talking about the output of this thing's relationship to the world of language, to the world of other people, to the world of events. So when we're talking about it in that sense, we're generally going to use the word mind. And of course, it's part of other expressions like, oh, do you mind if I have, it means, can I have that? Do you mind if I have that, right? Or, would you mind? Would you mind, right? Or, I don't mind. All of those are common expressions, and there are many more, right? Now, brain is sometimes used for this sort of thing when we talk about learning. You've got a really, really well put together brain. You've got a really great brain there. That's not very common, though. Usually when we talk about brains, we're talking about the physical stuff between your ears, right? I unfortunately had a bit of a brain problem. Means there's a physical problem with my brain. There's something happening biologically, physically with my brain. Now, there are expressions where we talk about memory and we talk about intelligence using brain. It's possible, right? Oh, he had quite a brain. Einstein said quite a brain, quite a brain. But, or a brainiac, you might hear. The word brainiac is someone who's very smart. It's definitely not as common as mind. So mind is related to other people, events, ideas, abstract. Brain is more physical, more literal, okay? Maybe referencing intelligence, but not much more. Hen versus chicken. Now, as I understand it, a chicken is a pretty general word for this thing that walks around and goes, buck, 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 right? That's that thing. Whatever it happens to be, I'm not really focused on it. I'm not looking at it carefully. I don't care what it is other than a thing that I could potentially eat and a thing that lays eggs that I use for my omelets and my egg salad sandwiches, right? Now, there are male chickens and female chickens, right? So we talk about chicken as just a kind of animal. That's that kind of animal. It's a hippo, right? It's a dinosaur. Well, I guess a T-Rex, okay. But then there are special words for each one. There are male chickens, which are sometimes called roosters, and there are female chickens, which are generally called hens. Now, generally speaking, when we talk about chickens, we're talking about female chickens because that's what we talk about when we talk about the production of chickens, which is eggs, right? But generally, we still use the word chickens to mean all of them. That kind of animal over there in the barnyard that I'm not really focused on eating seeds. Buck, 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 like that. Okay. So, again, hen focuses on the gender of the chicken. Chicken focuses on the kind of animal. Rooster focuses on the gender of the animal as well. A rooster does its, what does it do in the morning? What is it called? Rooster, I'm blanking on the thing that it does in the morning. The roosters, oh, that's weird. I just totally forgot that word. The rooster does the thing in the morning, the whatever it does, right? And then the chicken lays a couple of eggs for your breakfast. And we could say that the hen lays a couple of eggs for your breakfast too. And when we say, I'm eating chicken for dinner, we don't care if it's a boy chicken or a girl chicken, if it's a hen, or if it's a rooster. We don't care which one it is. It's chicken and it's delicious. Hopefully that makes that clear. All right, what about kids versus children? The only difference between kids and children, they're both plural, but the only difference here is one is more formal and one is more casual. One is, we could say, more colloquial. Can you guess which one it is? Children is more formal. Kids is more colloquial. My kids are over there. Where are your kids? Oh, they're over there. How many kids do you have? Do you have any kids? Yes. Do you have any children? Sounds a little more formal. How many children do you have? Oh, my children are. Most Americans will say kids instead of children. And you'll see children on things like signs. Educate your children. Children's education is very important. Children's clothing. So slightly more formal situations, maybe you'll see the word children. More casual one-to-one conversations, casual conversations, you'll hear kids. Kids is also used for other animals, the children of other animals. Children is specifically for human beings, and kids could be used also for goats, I believe. Goat babies are called also kids. And that may be where our usage of kids comes from, because children are very similar to goats in many, many ways, but that's just my opinion. Ladies and women. Okay, we have two more. Ladies and women. So very simply, a lady and a woman are often the same thing. Oh, what a beautiful woman. What a beautiful lady. What a beautiful woman. What a beautiful lady, right? That woman over there, that lady over there, that woman over there, that lady over there. They're used in the same way. We often use them almost in exactly the same way. We're talking about an adult female person, okay? Now, when someone gets a little older, instead of calling them a woman, we might call them an older woman or an older lady. But it still works for both, right? That older lady over there, that older woman over there. But there is a difference in the way that they are constructed, why we say one or the other, okay? And it's not that important to know the difference, but we might as well just know it. So if someone says someone is a woman, that means they're no longer a girl, a young girl. A girl is usually an adolescent, right? And yes, I know that we say, oh, what a cute girl over there, to mean someone in their 20s or even 30s. People say that. That's okay. We stretch the word girl well into adulthood. And we say, I'm dating a girl, and the girl is 35 years old. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. But when we say woman, we're talking about someone who has reached adulthood. A female who has reached adulthood. Okay, that is usually legally the age of 18. We might say the girl has become a woman. Okay, the girl has become a woman. Now, that's kind of the technical way to look at it, but that's not always how it's used. Often when we talk about a woman, we're talking about someone who has an adult presence or an adult aura about them, right? It seems like they're very adult and mature and able to handle themselves. This woman, oh, she's a real woman, right? Whereas a girl is someone who has still adolescent qualities, childish qualities, someone who still relies on their parents, someone who maybe isn't as strong in their presence, right, in their aura. So it's hard to define. There's a very fuzzy line between these two, woman and girl. Sometimes girl is used for people who are much older than 18, and woman may be used for some women and others no, because it's sort of subjective, and the way that we use the word is kind of how we feel about this person or our impression of this person, okay? Lady, then, is more of a social thing. It's more of a class thing. It used to be that a lady was an actual title. In, I believe it was England, it became a title of someone who was in a higher social position. Okay. Now we don't use it like that, but that is where it came from. And so a lady might be someone who is slightly upper class, who has a certain persona of being formal and being a little fancy, right? That might be a lady. But again, now we don't really use it like that. Now we pretty much just use woman and lady interchangeably, one or the other. It doesn't matter. Pretty much in the same way. Okay. Now the last one. Pretty versus beautiful. I don't really know the difference between these two, generally speaking. In terms of people, that lady is very pretty, that lady is very beautiful. My sense, my subjective feeling, is that the connotation of the word beautiful, oh, so beautiful, is stronger than pretty. And some people might say that beautiful is one kind of good looking and pretty is another. That pretty is more cute, nice to look at, and beautiful is luxurious and lipstick and red dress and that, that kind of thing is maybe a different feeling. Again, that's very subjective, so that there's no right or wrong answer there. People might just use it that way. Oh, very pretty lady. Maybe that's someone that's a very good-looking person without makeup, right? Who doesn't need to look fancy or have jewelry or anything like that, right? Just a very good-looking woman, a pretty girl, okay? Now, a beautiful girl, we could say you're a beautiful girl. That's fine too, totally fine. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying some people might use it to focus more on the done-up meaning of makeup and hair and clothes and jewelry as part of the whole package of what beautiful is. Very subjective. That's my general sense of that one, okay? Now, we use these two words for other things as well that might be a little more different. So, for example, we might say, let's say the landscape that we're looking at from the top of this mountain is beautiful. Would we say it's pretty? If we say it's pretty, it's definitely bringing it down a little bit. It's not as high. So let's say that we have a couple here, right? And one is on their phone just checking Instagram, and the other is looking out at this beautiful sunset, purple clouds, orange sky, green fields. Isn't it beautiful? Isn't it so beautiful? And the other one on their phone is, it's pretty, right? So beautiful there kind of has a higher sense to it. It has a sense of being a word that we use with intention to focus on how much pretty it is. Whereas if we say just, oh yeah, it's quite pretty, it's pretty, we don't mean it in such a strong way. It's definitely, the connotation of it is it's a little weaker. It's not as powerful. It's not as impactful, right? If we say, oh, that's beautiful, that's pretty, we might be saying, oh, that's pretty just to be nice. We don't really mean it. Whereas if we say, oh, that is beautiful, we usually mean it. It's a word filled with meaning. Again, that's for things other than people. For people, I think they're pretty close to the same thing with those slight variations in connotation. All right. My brain is fried. Make sure you guys hit the like button. Make sure you either hit subscribe or follow. And also don't forget to check out my courses in the links in the description.